Hello, welcome, and well done for finding us. We're recording this live from Scotland as both an audio podcast, but also as a video for our YouTube channel. So feel free to check us out over there too. My name's Simon. I'm here with my good friends and co-hosts Jimmy D and Brucey. Today is June the 15th, and this is the Burek.
In 2021, bored of lockdown, three friends began producing a podcast. Today, still going strong, they continue to talk nonsense. If you're having trouble sleeping, and if you can find it, maybe you should listen to the Burek.
Well, boys, welcome back for week 3. How are you, James?
Yeah, doing all right, doing okay. Busy week this week. It's been a lot going on. I'll not give you the the stories of my gardening at the weekend and my manual labour, but it was very busy. But it was lovely weather again, gorgeous. I don't know where all this nice weather's coming from. So hot on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know where this lovely weather's coming from, but I'm enjoying it. It's good.
Good. Yeah, we shouldn't grumble. It's lovely at the moment. Bruce, how's your week been?
Yeah, great. I've particularly enjoyed James sending us lots of photos of his garden getting done by other men. That's
yeah. Well,
to
be fair, I wasn't in the picture. I could have taken a selfie, but I decided not to. You're lucky I didn't give you the picture where my tap came off. You know, it was taps off weather this weekend, and I duly obliged until I got a little bit burned, and then I decided that was a stupid idea because my body's whiter than white, and I think I was actually reflecting sunlight and onto traffic passing. So I decided to put my shirt back on. But yes, it could have been a lot worse, Brucey. So be thankful.
Yeah. Good week, thank you, Simon. Yes, not too bad. It's flown by. We're suddenly back at Burek recording just like that.
That's true.
All good.
I can't believe it's another week.
Good. Well, this week's been good for our listeners as well. We've, over the 2 podcasts so far, 41 listens on our audio devices and 141 views on our YouTube channel. So thanks for everyone who checked them out. The YouTube channel is The Burek. We are on Twitter as well at Burek1, and you can also find us wherever you get your podcasts as well. Right, let's kick off with the main part of the show then, and speak about what's on our minds this week. James, have you got anything on your mind you want to discuss or talk about?
Well, do you know, there was a couple of things, and I've decided to highlight again this week the Scottish Crannog Centre. If you've ever heard of that, do you know what a crannog is, Si?
You could explain it if you'd like, James.
So is that a no?
Just like assume I don't
think, Jimmy. It's like a wee kind of.
Yes,
like
Brucey, you're close. Yes, it's exactly. It's an Iron Age.
Yeah,
but
Iron
yes,
Age,
it's an Iron Age wooden roundhouse on pillars in a loch or in water, and that is a crannog. And there was several archaeological digs that discovered the round supporting pillars within Loch Tay, and so they decided to rebuild one and make it like a working museum, and you could go in, and then they have fires in the middle, and they show you how the Iron Age people lived and what tools they used to use, etc. But that burned down. I mean, it is made of entirely wood and wicker and stuff, so it's very flammable. They don't know exactly what caused it yet, but the whole thing burned down, and it's a real shame. So they are now funding to try and get it rebuilt again as quickly as possible, but it's a real shame up in Kenmore there on the Loch Tay. So if you hadn't heard about that, and you have been and you want to pledge some money, they are looking for some cash to try and rebuild the Crannog Centre. So it was a real shame.
Do they have any idea what caused it, Jim? What happened with the?
No, they don't. They're still investigating it. They don't know, but.
That was sad to hear the news, especially after the last year and a half, and then obviously, it opens up and it goes on fire again, which is not great for anyone. Bruce, what's been on your mind this week?
Well, Simon, I don't know how much you maybe have seen this, but there was quite a sort of alarming, horrifying incident at the Denmark versus Finland game in the Euro 2020s on Saturday night. Where the Danish player Christian Eriksen collapsed on the pitch, and as it's transpired now, had a cardiac arrest and was taken to hospital, and thankfully has kind of pulled through and sent some messages out today. That it's pretty kind of sort of shocking incident, really, and there's various things to kind of discuss or debate about it. We probably haven't got time to go into them all, but it was a really shocking incident. Obviously, a young guy, he's only 29, to basically kind of keel over, and he's not the first footballer that it's happened to. We've actually lost a few footballers over the last kind of decade or so through this. There was famously a player called Fabrice Muamba who played for Tottenham, who, to all intents and purposes, died for 78 minutes and had to be defibrillated a number of times before he kind of pulled back round. So in Christian Eriksen's case, it didn't sound to have been quite as bad as that, but the Danish doctor did say that he was gone, essentially, and was saved by kind of CPR and the use of a defibrillator. And I suppose what really struck me is that I did some first aid training 20 years ago now, but elements of that have really stuck with me the whole time that I've done it, and I thought it was really important to just kind of flag, encourage, get people to know about just those real basics of first aid, because essentially what saved Christian Eriksen was really good, quick CPR. The Danish captain, a guy called Simon Kjær, was quick enough to clear his airway because he potentially swallowed his tongue, and then they just did what any first aider could do in terms of first aid kind of training, and then the defibrillator shock apparently is what kind of kind of restarted his heart and got him going again. And it's all essentially first aid, and all of those things you can learn to do by doing a course. So it was just a good reminder that first aid is can happen to anyone at any time, and to have just even the basic knowledge of it, I think.
Really. And I didn't see this. I was watching a few of the Euro games, but I missed this one, and I haven't even seen any footage either. So did they actually defibrillate him while he was on the pitch?
Yeah, and there's a whole debate because the BBC were a bit slow in cutting away, and you actually saw it on the BBC footage, which is really not
all right.
They've apologised subsequently for staying on the kind of images for too long, but yeah.
Well, I suppose it's what they're. I mean, they're not expecting that, are they? I mean, they're trying to show, what's happened to the player. Is there any signs of life? And you always see players that are injured getting stretchered off, and they're constantly on them. They don't think that guy's just keeled over and died, and he's going to need a defibrillator. So you can understand why they didn't cut away, but equally, yeah, it's a bit of a shock. But that must have been pretty shocking to see. And you're absolutely right about the first aid stuff. I was in the Boys Brigade growing up, and I know there was a few people that go to the Scouts, and they always do first aid and teach first aid in that, and you get badges in it and stuff. And there, like you say, there are aspects of that have always stuck with me. I've not done anything recently, and I think I probably should refresh. And the wife and I were talking about it the other day, and because of this, that actually that we probably should. It can save a life. It could save a relative's life. It could save somebody in the street's life. And for all it takes to do a course of an evening, a couple of evening courses, which there are all over the country, then it's definitely worthwhile.
I read somewhere that
ABC thing. Oh, sorry, Simon. Go on.
No, I was read after that. Somebody highlighted that your chances of survival are far greater if you get a defib within the first 7 minutes, apparently. So it's important to have one of these machines, around and as close as possible, I guess. So it's most likely did save his life.
I think I'm pretty sure that the statistics are you've got a 7% chance of survival without a defibrillator, and it goes up to something like 84% if there's a defibrillator handy. So, and another thing that I read today was that they are essentially, I mean, this is they're essentially foolproof in that you can use a defibrillator if you don't panic about using one. Essentially, with some of the advice that I read today, that you're not going to, electrocute someone or do someone some real damage. If you happen to be the only person who's got access to the defibrillator, then you've got it basically tells you what to do. You put it on, and there's instructions, and there's a big button that says to press when you press it. So, to not be afraid of it, and like you say, the difference of 7% to 84% is absolutely huge. And yeah, just knowing ABC, airway, breathing, circulation, those three things alone can make a world of difference. So anyway, just thought it was worth highlighting that. And there's lots of things around the event that
public service
be further
broadcasting
discussed.
announcement there from Bruce Strachan. Get some first aid and save a life. Thank you for listening.
No, it's true. I'm a first aider at work, and I had to use a defib machine last year or year before last, whenever, just the Christmas before lockdown anyway. And yeah, it's the first time I've used it, but it is very self-explanatory. It tells you where to put the pads. You turn it on. It does the testing for you, and if they need something, it tells you to press the button, and yeah, it all talks you through it. So you don't have to be trained on it to be able to use it. You just have to be, like you say, calm and just do what it says. So no, absolutely, it's all worthwhile. And obviously, first aid training.
Everything end up okay with the person you administered the first aid to? So everything fine.
While I was involved with it, it was okay. Yes. So, but no, it was certainly an interesting experience to be sort of right there and doing it to somebody. Yeah. So that's good. I'm not going to mention mine because mine is frivolous and compared to that, not even worth speaking about. So we'll move on to the next sort of topic of the week, which is based on football still. We're going to cross live to Bruce's house, where we're going to the sports desk.
Well, Simon, obviously in last week's podcast we spoke about the great excitement of Scotland about to play their first match for 23 years, and all of the feelings came flooding back: the excitement, the hope, the thrill of watching Scotland, take to the field. Same nervous feeling. I was hopping around. I was hyper. I'm a 42-year-old man, but I was hyper yesterday, just before it. And then all the familiar feelings of watching Scotland came back as I actually watched the game, which were essentially crushing disappointment, bitter frustration, and ultimate deflation. Although 24 hours later, actually we did pretty well. We were quite unlucky. The Czech goalkeeper made some phenomenal saves. The 2 goals were quality finishes by the Czech kind of striker. And on another day, actually, that could have easily been a draw, or in fact a Scotland win. It was just one of those games of football.
Well, exactly. I mean, you look at the Spain-Sweden game. I mean, could Spain not score? They were just all over them. And they had the most, did you see that? The most number of passes in a single half of football. Something like 636 passes or something. The most ever at a European champion. And they couldn't score. Just for toffee. They couldn't score.
Yeah. So, Simon, the good news is that all we've got to do now is go down to London and beat England at Wembley. So, just to sort
do you know that's the way Scotland usually do it, though, isn't it? They usually lose against the easier teams of the groups, and then they go out and put in a real performance against the harder teams, and actually, and that's where they bounce back. They never do it the easy way. When they do it, they never do it the easy way.
Yeah, this is it. But the Euros has got off to a flyer. There's been some great performances. Italy looked really good, Simon. So if I know that you like to have some little tidbits of Euros knowledge to be able to share with your neighbour. So Italy are looking really good so far, I would say.
I've got them in the sweepstake as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah, right enough.
Good.
Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo today scored 2 goals and has become the all-time record goal scorer in the Euros with 10 goals, scoring across 5 different tournaments.
Wow.
If I've got that right. Yeah.
He's some player, though. He's a machine, isn't he? He's a machine.
He's unbelievable. So, again, if you want to drop a little thing into a conversation where you weren't knowing, oh, wow, Cristiano Ronaldo's record is quite something. That'll keep you going for 5 minutes. And then, Si, if you really want to get into a debate with your neighbour, you can ask him whether he thinks Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi is the greatest player of all time. Sit back for 20 minutes. You won't have anything to say after that.
Right.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
Brilliant. That's my
it's Messi.
Hashtag bluffing the Euros.
It's Ronaldo.
It's Messi, is it? Right, okay.
Yeah, you should have that. That's probably a trending hashtag already.
I obviously, as you know, Bruce, I myself not being a fan really of the football, but I did find myself getting quite excited before the game the other day, and I even changed my screensaver to the Scotland sort of strip, which I've never done before in my life. But I thought, if I'm going to do it, now is the time. 23, it might be another 23 years before I get to do it again. So, unfortunately, though, obviously, the enthusiasm maybe waned as the game went on. But tell me, Brucey, in terms of hopes and aspirations, are we still thinking, we've got a chance?
Yeah, like James said, that we always seem to play much better for some strange reason against teams that we're not really fancied against the really big teams. But what usually happens is we play really well, and then something hideously unlucky happens, and we end up losing or not winning. So if for some reason we can actually turn that around and get a result against England on Friday, then actually I fancy us against Croatia, because they didn't look particularly
Yeah,
brilliant
they
either.
didn't
So
look hot, did they?
huge game Friday. Friday will tell us everything. If we get pasted, then yeah, we're probably going home anyway, or staying home. But if we win on Friday, actually, I think that might just give us a wee bit of belief.
Yeah,
and we
because
can
all you
go
need is a
bit
wee
further.
draw.
But
A wee draw against Croatia would be enough, potentially.
Hopeful, not confident. Fair enough. We'll know more this time next week, and we'll get back to the sports desk and see where the mood is on the scale next week. Right, we should move on, though, I think probably, because time is marching on, to the weekly Scottish quiz. Now, so far, James won week 1. I came back triumphantly in week 2, as everyone will know. But now we're on to week 3, where it's all up for grabs. And Brucey, we're back over to you as question master to guide us through the Scottish quiz.
awesome, brilliant. I can't remember who's going first.
Side to go first. I went first last week.
I've tried to, obviously, Simon, I know that, sport not necessarily your go-to subject, so I've tried to give as many multiple choices as possible. And we've covered a range of sports, key Scottish sports. So, yeah. So talking of Scotland and England, first question, Simon. So England and Scotland's men's teams have played each other more than any other nation in the world. So they've played 113 official matches. England have the better record in the fixture with a total of 48 wins. But how many wins do Scotland have? Is it 41, 31, or 21?
Okay, well, I'm going to guess with 21.
No, it's going to be nearer. I think it's 41. I think it's a lot closer than you think.
And James, you would be right. Yeah. Yes, we're only 7 wins behind. Yeah. So, and it wasn't that long ago. We were only 4 wins behind.
Yeah, we used to win a lot back in the day.
Very good.
Yeah. So yes, points to James. Yes, so it's a little bit closer than you might think on first viewing. So there you go. Good. Okay, question 2. Sir Chris Hoy is Scotland and Britain's joint most successful male Olympian with 7 medals. But how many of his Olympic medals have been gold?
Oh, is it 4?
I was going to say 4, but I'm going to go with 5.
Well, the answer is actually 6. He's got 6 gold medals and 1 silver medal.
Oh. Wow.
He's tied exactly.
He's doing all right then.
Oh, I've forgotten his name.
The rower.
Other male sprinter. No, it's another cyclist. It'll come to me.
No, it's not Broadman.
Another sprinter. Another male. What's his name? Anyway, fine. It'll come back to me. So, yeah, 6 gold
that's
medals.
amazing, eh?
So, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, cool. Question number 3.
Oh, very good.
A Scottish man famously won the 100-metre sprint race at the Olympics at the boycotted Moscow Olympics in 1980. Can you name him? Was he Alan Wells? Was he Wyndham Halswaley? Or was he Eric Liddell?
I think it's Eric Liddell.
Eric Liddell.
Yeah, Alan Wells is more recent, I think. I don't know the middle guy. I've heard of Eric Liddell. I'm going to go Eric Liddell as well.
Oh, no, you're both
Is it?
wrong. Eric Liddell, it was famous Chariots of
Ah,
Fire.
is that what it is? That's how I know the
his
name.
story is what's facing Chariots of Fire. Wyndham Halswaley was from the early 20th century and is still, I think, the only Scot to hold gold, silver, and bronze medals for athletics. And it was actually Alan Wells. Alan Wells won the 100
Oh, really?
race. Although, in 1980 Olympics. There you go. And it was a bit controversial because obviously lots of people weren't at the Moscow Games. But he did actually win a race subsequently, about 6 months later, against most of the top athletes to sort of confirm his pedigree.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Scotsman
Wow.
has won 100 metres. Not that
Do you know,
long
I
ago.
don't know if I would have known that. That's a good bit of knowledge there.
Educational and fun, Jimmy.
Hey.
Right. So, question number 4. Only 1 point so far. Right. Okay. Ailish McColgan recently qualified to run the 10,000 metres at the forthcoming Olympics. Her mum, Liz McColgan, was a world champion at which distance? 5,000 metres, the steeplechase / 3,000 metres, or the 10,000 metres?
Oh, I wasn't going to say any of them. Glad you gave me the options.
Right, so you go first, Mark.
I don't. Okay, I think was she not like a marathon runner? I thought she was a marathon. Okay, maybe not.
Well, that wasn't one of the options.
I don't know. Let's go for 10,000.
That's what I would have said. That's what I would have said.
Well, that's what I was waiting to hear, but I didn't hear it.
Steeplechase.
So,
or the 10,000 metres.
Okay, well in that case, I'll go for 10,000 metres.
Yeah, I think it's 10K. Yeah.
And you're both right. Yes, she's qualified at the same distance as her famous mum. So, there you go. I think hopefully she brings back the medal the same. Okay, last question for you first, Simon. Okay. James will be chomping at the bit here. How many times have Scottish teams won the World Curling Championship? Men's and women's combined.
How many times have won the world? The women, anyway.
It's the world's.
No, I know, but I know how many times the women have, but
well.
I don't know. The men's, I'm going to have to count up in my head.
So it's
just going to be an absolute guess. I'm going to say I have no idea. I'm going to say 6 times.
Oh, 6 times. Okay.
I think combined it's about 9 or 10 times. I think the men have won it a lot more than the women. The women have only won the Worlds twice, recently with even historically with Jackie Lockhart. But I say historically 2002, but that was the first time that the women's won the Worlds. But the men I think have done it about 8 times. So yeah, it's about 9 or 10 times.
Simon, note this moment down in your
Curling.
history. You've got a curling question closer
no
than
way.
James has got it.
I was convinced it was a lot more than that. No?
So the answer is 7, and James, you're absolutely right. It's twice. The women have won it twice, and the men have won it 5.
Is it only 5? I say only. It's not easy. But
7.
They got silver this year.
And
they got silver this year. They came blinking close.
And in the middle of my research, James, I discovered that your good lady has a Wikipedia page. Did you know that?
Does she? She didn't the last time I looked. Somebody must have created it. But yeah, she was on.
I've edited it since.
Oh, right, have you? Well, nice.
I haven't really.
Yeah, she was in the 2002 winning team with Jackie Lockhart. So yeah, she was on there under Jackie Lockhart's winning team in 2002, but I didn't think she had a page of her own. I'll need to tell her.
Yeah, on Wikipedia. So there you go. Well, brilliant. So what's that? A point to James and a point to Simon from the first 5 questions. So a draw so far. Okay. So switch over to you, James, now
Great.
as the first answerer, and Simon, you get to go second. So Scotland has produced 2 world champion Formula One drivers. Can you name them?
Jackie Stewart and David Coulthard.
Jackie Stewart and David Coulthard. Okay.
Although I don't think David was ever the champion.
Second.
Well, I think I might have agreed with James on that, but David Coulthard. Yeah, he did well. Let's go for those 2.
Well, you're both right. With
Yeah,
Jackie
he
Stewart.
never won. David Coulthard never won, did he? No,
he won about 13 races. David Coulthard. That the other one was Jim Clark,
of course.
Jim Clark, famously twice world champion, and apparently before his untimely death was one of the best. So there you go. Yeah, I think Jackie Stewart won 3 times.
Is Jim Clark not a rallier?
Both, famous for doing multiple.
Oh, right. I didn't realise he did.
Indy 500.
Right. I didn't realise he did all those different races. I thought he was just rally driving. Oh, okay.
Very famous motor driving family as well. Okay, James, so you now get Simon's question. You get to go this one first. What is the seating capacity of the Falkirk Stadium?
You're kidding. I'm going to go 22,000. Is it as much as that? Is it not as much as that? Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, that's way too much. You're right. I'm trying to think. They built 2 big stadiums, but they've still got 2 ends that are not covered. 18,000. 18,000.
18,000. Simon, got an inside track here? I mean, are you not at it?
I don't. I know there's only not to play football though, unfortunately. But there we go. I think it's. I don't know. It's less than that. I think it's probably like. Well, I don't know. I don't even know how many seats in a stadium. 5,000 seats.
Oh, Si's taking the point. We're being closer. It's 7,937 according to the.
I have no idea.
Ah, right, there you go.
I have no idea. 7,000. Where did I get 18 from? That's about Tynecastle's about 18, isn't it?
Tynecastle's more like 20 now, but yeah, it's that kind of size. Yeah. So yeah, it's not all the way around, is it?
No.
The Falkirk Stadium. So,
stupid.
It's not.
Falkirk Stadium, of course, famously in Grangemouth. Simon, am I right?
Yeah. It's not in the centre of Falkirk anyway. No. But it's a very nice stadium.
Okay. It is very nice. Very nice. Okay. Next question. In a 2018 study, where did Scotland rank in the table of per capita attendance at football matches in the top leagues in Europe? So essentially, number of people per population who pay money to go and watch football on a weekly basis. Were they top? Were they second top? Or were they 10th across Europe?
Wow. It's quite high, whichever the answer, I'm going to go top. Or either that or Billy Connolly.
Per capita.
Okay.
One of the two. It's either top or the answer is Billy Connolly.
Okay.
Sure.
Si, you going to go with James or are you going to take your own answer? Play defensive.
Good. Well, just to be different, if he's going top, I'll go. What were the options again? Top or what? Well, if I go 10th, what happens if the answer's... I'm going to go 10th. Europe's a big place.
Well, you're going to give up your 1 point lead to James if you do that, Simon, because the answer is top. In the top leagues in Europe, more people a higher percentage of the population go to watch football in Scotland than any of the other top leagues. We are actually beaten, if you go further out into Europe, with places like Iceland, the Faroe Islands, and that in terms of the size of population. But in what you'd call the sort of main sort of top leagues, We are.
Do you know that'll be partly because in a lot of these other countries like Germany and Italy, and Spain, where the football's massive, and England as well, they could sell their stadiums out 3 or 4 times. So a lot of people who want to go can't go. Everybody in Scotland who wants to see football, there's a seat, and there's a seat next to them for their mate.
Yeah, well, that's very true. Yeah. No, that's a big part of it. But I suppose it goes right through all the leagues as well. It goes right down into the lower leagues. So it's still pretty decent, I think. Okay, 2 questions to go. It's tight. Oh, I do have a tie-break question. Maybe it'll kick in this year. Right. Rose Riley is the only Scottish football player to have achieved what worldwide accolade? Rose Riley is the only Scottish football player to have achieved what worldwide accolade?
Rose Riley, the only female.
She's the only Scottish person to do this. So male.
The only Scottish person to hold multiple gold medals in more than 5 gold medals in a world championships in different disciplines or something.
She's a football player.
Oh, she's the only person to win the World Cup.
She's the only person to win the World Cup. Is that your answer? Okay.
The only
Simon, you gonna go with that?
The only Scottish person to win the World or European Cup. Like that.
I don't really understand that answer, so I'm going to go with my own, which is she's the only player to have played for both Scotland and England in the same championships or something like that.
Well, that's a really more insightful answer than you would have thought, actually. No, I mean, I'll explain why in a second. James is actually right. She is the only Scottish player to win the World Cup. She actually represented Italy when they won the World Cup in 1984. She went and lived over there. But the reason your answer is really interesting is that she is also the only player to have won 2 trophies in the same season, 2 championships in the same season, with 2 different clubs and in 2 different countries. So she would play in Italy on the Saturday. I can't remember the team off the top of my head. And then she would fly to France on the Sunday and play for, pretty sure it's Reims, and play for them. And so she was playing twice a week, and both teams won the league one season. So she won.
That's quite amazing, isn't it?
So she should be the most venerated Scottish, certainly footballer, kind of out there. More and more.
Yeah, that is an amazing story.
Yeah. So there you go. Right, so Jim takes a
James
1 point lead going into the last question.
Yeah, no way.
So, current Scottish World Champion Josh Taylor is a boxer from Preston Pans, just up the road from me. He is now the undisputed champion and current holder of all 4 major belts in his weight division. But what is it? What weight division does Josh Taylor
welterweight or light welter?
Do you want the options, Jim? So we've got flyweight, light welterweight, or light
welterweight. That's what I'm sure. I nearly said light welterweight, but I said welterweight. But yeah, light welterweight.
Light welterweight. Simon, what are you going for?
Well, James sounded quite convinced by his answer there, so I better take his answer as well, because he sounded like he knew what he was talking about.
And you would both be right. Yes, light welterweight, which is between 61.2 kilograms or 135 pounds and 63.5 kilograms or 140 pounds.
Just missed it. I could have given him a run for his money, but I just tipped the top end of that there.
That's one of your legs.
Carry on. Is that quiz over? Is it? Yeah.
Sorry.
I did out one leg actually.
He again totally underrated. To hold all 4 belts certainly in the modern era is astonishing achievement.
Yeah.
Joshua, any pretty much any boxer that you could name from the last 20 years haven't done that. He's remarkable to have achieved that. So, so he deserves all.
Absolutely agree.
And he was on the Euros breakfast show this morning. He sounds like a real decent guy as well. Hibs fan, but we can't hold everything against him.
Oh well.
So
don't worry.
I know. But good luck to him because he's very good.
Oh well.
So it's a win for James, but only by 1 point actually. Only by 1 point.
Wow.
And do you want my bonus Billy Connolly question?
Is that the bonus question? Was it?
I couldn't really squeeze Billy Connolly in. It was the bonus question. I couldn't actually find an answer that was Billy Connolly that wasn't going to be too obvious. So Billy Connolly once refereed a testimonial match involving his beloved Celtic. But what was unique about the uniform he was wearing that day?
Was he? Oh, was he in his flares and his suit that he always wore? That loud patterned suit that he always wore back in the 80s.
I think he probably did it naked.
Good. Also a good guess. No, they put him in a Ranger strip, famously. So he was given a Ranger strip to referee this particular testimonial game. That was about as close as I could get with Billy Connolly in sport this week, but I'll look out for it next week. So your choices for next week are music or movies?
Well, I don't want to, shape it in any way towards my favour. So if you want to do movies, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, movies is fine. Do movies.
Movies, okay. Scottish films. We will look at Scottish films.
Right. Scottish films.
Well done, Jim.
Look forward to that. Thank you again, Bruce, then. That's good. So that's 2 weeks to James and 1 to myself. So well done. Great. Okay, well, let's move on because time is, again, moving on quite rapidly. Something you may not have heard about this week. We opened it up last week to more than just sort of news articles. So, James, have you got something that people might not have heard about this week?
No, that was kind of my Crannog story earlier. I probably should have left that for now. So yeah, I'll probably about this. I actually got that mixed up. I've got another one that what's on my mind, but I'll save that for another time. I should have read the script, to be fair.
All those hours of rehearsal.
I know.
Well, we don't just throw this thing together. Right, well, we'll move on then. Bruce, have you got anything, something that people might not have heard about this week?
I suspect people probably have heard of it, Simon, but I thought I'd highlight the fact that it's Pride Month this month. Just think it's important to kind of acknowledge that it's going on. And I read a kind of quite a sort of depressing and alarming statistic, actually, which was that young people who identify as being LGBT plus, was how it was written down, 84% of them are likely to have suicidal thoughts, compared to only about 30 to 35% of those who wouldn't identify as being LGBT plus. And I just thought it was a really sad statistic that in kind of today's day and age that we're still kind of facing this massive kind of prejudice and negative stereotyping towards those that are, identifying as those things. So the fact it's Pride Month, there would normally be a lot of Pride kind of parades and you see how brilliant and colourful and vibrant those are. Obviously can't happen at the moment, but just thought it was important to flag that was happening.
It's a good point. I mean, they lose a lot of their publicity when they can't, go out and try and promote it and help, and all the good work that they do, and charitable work to try and get people who are maybe a little bit more afraid to come out or struggling with their sexuality at a young age, and they can do, they do a lot of good work to try and support those youngsters. So, this month, should be about, like you say, awareness and about that it's okay to be who you are and who you want to be and okay with your sexuality. But it is something a lot of young people struggle with, and us with young kids as well, you do wonder, going through their lives, if they're going to have the same struggles, and you would want that the support to be out there should they, should something happen like that. So it's a good thing to raise awareness of.
Yeah, and I think just that, making sure that we're we're conscious
Yeah.
of our language, and just keep getting a reminder of the things which I don't know. There's I was shared a clip this week of Simon Pegg doing quite a good kind of rant about the phrase "no homo," which I hadn't actually heard of before. It's very funny, and the point of the whole thing is very. Had you heard of that, chaps? No homo.
No.
I haven't. No.
So I mean, the basics of it is just like, oh well, no homo, James, but I like your shirt. It's like, well, why bring
Okay,
in-
right. I'm not like saying, like saying I'm not trying to be gay,
Yeah.
but you got no
Yeah,
shirt
I'm not
on.
gay or anything, but and it was just a really good that reminder of just kind of just that language that can kind of sneak into.
Well, do you know it's true because it's that casualness about identifying people in that way, and that is something that masculine thing. There was a comedian I was just watching earlier on. I'll not say who it was because I think he's a good comedian, but his sketch was all about guys going on tour and getting to the airport, and it's going to be an absolutely mental away day with the boys when you're going through, and it says there, have you got anything to declare? And one of them will turn to his mates and go, aye, he's a gay boy. And it's just like, you're kind of, that's quite funny, but it's the casualness of which that is funny because it's supposed to be detrimental to that guy to be identified as a gay boy. It's things like that need to be stamped out, and need to be just stop using those turns of phrase to try and belittle somebody, because it's and that's what needs to stop over, and it'll take time. It's a cultural thing. It's been so many years and generations that they have been mocked and depressed.
I think it's a perfect example, Jim. That it's used as a kind
A
of
derogatory
term, just for humour, and actually we've all got, I think, to and actually I think us as three middle-aged white men with children have a real responsibility, I think, to just take a bit of courage to
well,
go,
just
and actually it's not a lot of courage for us to challenge it a bit,
and just not perpetuate
that's
it.
not
as
okay.
well.
I'm not. Check your own stuff. So I just think that anyway, I just thought it was something that it was worth kind of highlighting that was in the ether at the moment, and particularly given there's so much vitriol and kind of anger about we won't get into it all at the moment, but things like taking the knee and all that at the moment, that just folks seem to be so angry about stuff, and actually that's something that was just supposed to be a celebration and a kind of real kind of kind of lift and highlight of what's going on in that community, that I just think it's important to mention.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, it's a good thing to bring up. My I don't have anything special to speak about, but I'm going to move on to Crowdfunder Corner, if that's all right. My weekly delve through the Crowdfunder website. We've got to spend my my Cardano money somewhere.
Cardano.
That's why I don't have any. Right? Okay.
All right, because you can't pronounce it. No,
I've been investing in the wrong thing.
Where can I give my money to this week, Si? What cause have you found for us?
Well, I thought I'd update you on last week's cause to start with, which was, as you know, the junior surf team.
Oh yes.
So they have this week, and I don't know, it's down to us. It must be down to us. They've added an extra £95 to their fundraising amount.
You're welcome.
So they're sitting at
You're welcome.
2,095. So well done to them. But they'll get there, I'm sure. They've got 38 days to go. This week, though, it's sort of leading on from something that Bruce touched upon there, and it's not Scottish-based, this one, but I thought probably quite appropriate. It's Journeymen. It's help for Ben's mental health. It is based down south, but they're trying to raise some money. Journeymen work with men, basically, to try and save their lives, to improve their mental health, to reduce the financial burden on people if they can, to provide help for their mental health services they might need. They're really just a sort of society or group that men can turn to in their hours of need, which I thought was actually really quite important.
Yeah, when you look at
the
stats on suicide, it's quite interesting that the number of men that are kind of like the demographic that are more likely to commit suicide, men over 40, and finances are a big thing, a big part of that. Financial troubles and losing your job and things like that are big pressures that are put on men. And I know there's one in Perth called Andy's Man's Club, and they've recently been recognised for their mental health work for men in Perth and Perthshire, and they've got a national award recently for the work that they do. So, yeah, it's an important thing. It definitely is, and it needs support. You're right. These charities need support.
Great. They do. I mean, this one, for example, just reading it off the website, they do weekly phone calls to men who are, vulnerable. They do. They go take them out for walks, to take them fishing trips, canal boat trips. They have a gardening club for them. They do Friday afternoon Zoom chats and training courses to sort of get them back into, well, I guess, work and society again. But no, I mean, this is just one example. Obviously, I found it's called Journey Men, but as you say, there are lots of others out there. So if anyone has any, inclination to support anything, that's a worthwhile cause. Certainly, these guys are looking for £2,000 at the moment, and so far they've got £50. They've got a wee bit to go, but good luck to them.
Indeed.
That's great.
Okay.
I think it's really good to keep highlighting as well, because I think, like James was talking about there, I am pretty sure, and I should check my statistics really, but I'm pretty sure it's the second highest killer after heart attacks for men in our demographic. I need to check the stats on that, but it's ridiculously high.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean, I was not trying to pick on your language side when you say them, it's us, isn't it? I mean, it's guys that are like us, and I think it's really incumbent on all of us to make sure that we're kind of checking in
and talking to people you haven't heard from in a while, and ask how they are, and just try and get them to open up a little bit. But,
no, definitely, you're absolutely right, Bruce. It's we're talking about us now, not some other age group somewhere else.
That age group that's that wee bit older than that. Hold on, no, shit, no, that's us now. Oh. Yeah, we are that demographic. Yeah.
If you look at these forms you fill in, we're going a long way down the boxes to find our checkbox now. Please turn over.
There's only 2 more left. That's the sad thing. There's 2 more boxes left. What happens after you hit the last box, Si?
They'll have to invent a new box for us, James. Let's start again. No. Good. Well, it's nice we're laughing. It's been quite a heavy episode this week, but right, good.
Covered a few.
I know, but that's good. It's what it's all about. We're going to change the mood completely now and head over to James again for his whiskey of the week.
I need a wee dram to pick me up. So this week we're heading to Speyside again. We're heading to Banffshire, just up the A95, just outside Ballindalach. You probably know it well, you guys. Anyway, if anybody has guessed which distillery I'm going to, good luck to you, because there's about 50 of them on that road. But we're going to Cragganmore this week. Ooh. We are going to Cragganmore. It's another Diageo whiskey. It's a single malt, and the one I've got, you might think, hold on, I've seen Cragganmore in the shops. It doesn't look like that, and you'd absolutely be right. The Cragganmore. Sorry, that was for the YouTubers. This is the Cragganmore box. This is for YouTube. This is the Cragganmore. You're probably more familiar with, a 12-year-old Scottish malt, single malt whiskey. But they do a distiller's edition of a lot of different malts, and that's the one I'm going to be trying tonight. It's a Cragganmore, and a lot of distilleries will make this distiller's edition whiskey, and it's still 12 years old. But what they do is, halfway through the maturation process, they switch it into a different cask, a different barrel. Normally you leave it for 12 years in the same barrel. And what they do is they mix this and they actually pour it into a different barrel and let it mature in a different barrel, and usually a sherry barrel or a port barrel, but it depends on the type of whiskey, and it's up to the distiller to decide. And these are all hallmarked. I don't know if you can see for the camera, for the viewers at home, there's a hallmark on the bottle right at the top here, with lots of little symbols like you get on silverware, and that marks the the distiller's initials. It also marks the type of cask that it was put into for its second maturation. And then it's got the distillery symbol and another symbol that I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But yes, we're going to go
Jim,
with...
is that done so that just obviously to create different flavour? I take it, is it so that if you mix it at a different point, then you get a different kind of outcome, but because it's been sitting in the barrel.
Yeah, and they can't do it with lots and lots of barrels because it's a really footery process to try and get all the whiskey out of one barrel and another barrel without it spilling everywhere. And because you've got to imagine these massive hogshead 250-litre barrels, and they're trying to pour the whiskey from one to the other without spilling any, because goodness, you don't want to spill any of that. So they don't make a lot of it. And this is, like I say, a 12-year-old, and they are limited edition ones because they have the year that it was distilled on it and the year it was bottled, and it's always 12 years, but they will state the year. Whereas normally on Crag and Moors, you won't know which year it was distilled. It won't tell you on there. It's just a 12-year-old single barrel, and it could have been from any year. So they don't have a vintage, if you like. But with distillers editions, they do. Anyway, so straight on to drinking again. Smells like whiskey.
How does it taste, Jimmy? How does it taste?
Trigger warning.
Oh, yeah.
Those that don't like the,
So how does it taste? So it is one of the
That's
smoothest whiskies you'll drink. It is trigger warning again. Is that what you said? Okay. So again, so we're now the tip for this week. I've talked before about how you put the whiskey on the lips and you lick your lips to get a taste of it. You don't use the water straight away. Try it neat and then add a little bit of water if you don't like it. If you see anybody put ice in it, shoot them, that kind of stuff, But if this week we're going to talk about the glass now and the glass that you drink from. Now on YouTube, you'll probably see I've got a nice crystal heavy bottomed glass and it's a really straight up and down cylindrical glass. You can get a lot of whiskey glasses that you'll have seen them. They look like a whiskey still. They're really wide at the bottom and narrow at the top. Now, they're actually nosing glasses and tasting glasses. They're not really just for drinking whiskey. They're actually so that the fumes go round and up, and it concentrates the amount of fumes that go up into your nose so you can smell it more, and so you can nose it. And that's why if you go to whiskey festivals and stuff, these are the glasses you get, and these are the ones you get to take away with you. And everybody's got them in their house, the Glencairn glass whiskies. Whiskey glasses. But if you want a really good glass to drink whiskey, it's got to be really nice and heavy, a really sort of heavy bottom to it, because the drams doesn't weigh a lot, and you want the glass to weigh a lot when you drink it. But a lot of what drinking a whiskey is the glass you drink it from as well. So yes, we'll take a little taste now. I think I've spoken enough now. And this
once again, Simon,
any
I thought
chance
all
of
of this
drinking
hasn't
quite
arrived. I
quickly?
don't know about
That'd be
you.
good.
and you should have a sample. But did your samples not arrive? Oh, do you know? I
It's
really will
third
need
week in a row,
to.
Jim.
I will
No.
need to get on to the postman about that. Honestly, I send them off every week. He's drinking them before he gets to you, obviously. But yes, that's a really smooth taste. It's got a caramelly finish on it. You don't really need an awful lot with that, or I don't. It's just so easy drinking, and you could drink a lot of that quite easily. It's at the top end of what I would purchase a whiskey at. It's near the £50-60 mark, so it's kind of right at the top end of what I would spend on a whiskey. And it's probably the most expensive bottle I've got, that one actually at the moment. So I don't drink an awful lot of it. It's not sort of a day drinking whiskey, but it's really, really nice. And if you get your chance to try a distiller's edition of any of the whiskies that do a distiller's edition, then don't turn it down a nip of that, because it will be good, because they usually are. So Slàinte.
Great. Well, next week we'll have to get our heavy bottomed glasses ready, Bruce, and actually partake in some of this, I think.
I think it's about time. It's not the best spectator sport, is it?
No,
It's not. It's not.
Not even for our ASMR fan. I didn't even do my lip licking this week for the ASMR fans.
Thank goodness. Right, guys, we're touching the end of our allotted time here, so we're going to have to. We can do the Scottish word. We'll have to do it quickly though. So,
Okay.
My word I'm going to bring to the podcast this week is beswacket,
Beswacket.
and that's beswacket. Now, your three options are: does it mean to be soaked or drenched? Does it mean an old-style implement for whacking bees? Or does it mean to be looking good?
Oh, okay. I like the red herring in there. That was good. Yeah, we've all got to come up with a really good red herring. I'm going to go with the first one, to be soaked.
That's it.
I think it's the last one. I think, Si, you're looking very beswacket tonight.
Oh, thank you very much, Brucey. Nice of you to say so, but unfortunately, James is right. It does mean to be soaked or drenched.
Excellent word.
So beswacket means to be wet.
You're looking a bit beswacket.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, speaking about our Scotch words, Bruce, there's a great example last night I saw of a lovely gludder as I was driving along the road.
Well done. Well done.
Yes, it was lovely. I took a picture. My car's a write-off, but I got a nice picture. And it's
got a ticket.
Yeah, got my ticket. But no, it was lovely, and I thought, it's a gludder. I'll have to take a picture. But anyway, so this week is beswacket.
Did you feel the heat though? Did you feel the heat?
That's beswacket. Well, I was in the car. I couldn't really feel the heat, but I did see the light beams coming out from behind the cloud, and it looked very nice.
Beam coming through the feet.
Yeah. Beautiful. Right, guys, we're going to have to wrap this up. Thank you for your time. James, it's been nice speaking to you again this week.
You too, Si.
Bruce, always a pleasure to have your company as well.
Absolutely. And then once again, come on, Scotland on Friday. Let's do it.
Yeah!
Once in a generation result. Come on, Scotland. Let's do this.
Good luck to the team on Friday. Thank you for listening. Again, thank you for watching on YouTube. Hopefully you stuck with it. I have a terrible fear there's going to be a bit of lagging on this week's episode, which we'll try and sort out. However, we'll do this all again soon, hopefully next week, although James is on holiday, but if we can do a remote one, we'll have to sort that out and set it up. And hopefully we'll join him next week from somewhere up north. Great. Okay, guys, thank you again. For everyone else, thank you. Take care. Remember to check us out on our podcast, on our YouTube, and on Twitter. And we'll see you all soon. Goodbye.
Bye.